as we wait for the magic to begin. Good morning, my beautiful ones. It may not be morning where you are in the world, but good morning to you. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to my weekly chat and my weekly check-in. Whether you are new here or you have been here before, welcome. It's nice to have you join me. At this point in time, whether you're folding laundry, wrangling kids, crying in the shower, I want you to know that you're in the right place. This space is for you. In the hard moments, in the devastating moments, in the ones where you are completely frozen and everything feels like it's just a little bit too much. Welcome to my table. Nothing is off limits here. No mask required. You don't even have to explain what pain you're going through to sit at my table. I know that you're really busy. You're probably juggling a million things right now, but just for 10 seconds, check in with yourself. Let's just pause for a minute, take a nice big deep breath, and check in. How are you today in this moment? For me, the easiest way to do this and the best I've found is to take a really big deep breath, stop, 0 to 10, dead easy, 0 to 10. Where am I at? 0, good as gold. 10, life is a bag of poop. Or maybe you're somewhere in between. So let me know in the comments where you are at today. Maybe how your week has gone, 0 to 10. Let me know in the comments. This week for me, I'm sitting at around maybe a 6, could be a 7, has been up to probably a 7. We had a full moon, which is never a good thing for me. But also, there's just a lot going on in my life. So it's not anything specific that's got me up at a 6 or a 7. It's just the grind, The world feels really freaking tricky to me right now, like really tricky to me. It's all a bit messy and a bit emotional. And the full moon this week really, I don't know about you, but when there's a full moon, I really get a bit so I noticed that, which was a lot. But I'm also feeling like I'm stretched, like way too thin, like way too thin. There's just so much going on. So what about you? Where are you at? 0 to 10, let me know. It's funny for me in life, how sometimes really little tiny things, like really little nothings, change everything. And that's what happened last night. So I was sitting here prepping for this as it goes. And my daughter sent me a message and she said, "Hey, Mum, did you know that Kelly Clarkson has updated that song piece by piece?" So my daughter knows me very well, obviously. She's my daughter. And she knows I love that particular piece of music. And the reason I love it is because I remember when it was on American Idol, I think, and I watched it and I sobbed through the whole freaking song. Like I sobbed my face off. I remember sitting there thinking, oh my God, this song is unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. Because it was a story. It was a story of my childhood, It was the story of being rejected and abandoned by the people who you really wanted to love you. And it was the story of a man coming along in her life and rescuing her. He came back and piece by piece, he accepted me, piece by piece, he decided he would be there for our kids. And so this song, and I remember everybody was crying. Everybody on that Idol show was crying their eyes out. I love the song. Like songs take us to places, right? I'm sure you have favorite songs that take you somewhere. But that song is a really powerful song for me, and all of her songs, because obviously she's got an anxious attachment style and she's had a really rough life. And so the songs really resonate with me. I don't know about you, but maybe you do have songs that feel like that for you. And if you do, please feel free to share them in the comments with me. I love music. I find it's really helpful. But when I got to listen to the new version, that kind of really shifted me quite a bit. So I had to listen to it a couple of times last night. And again, I was in tears, but for a completely different reason. Because the new version of her song was so uplifting and so aligned with my life today, but also with the work that I do with women, and how, anybody's ever worked with me, and there are some of you watching right now, so hi, some of you. I see some of your names in the chat there. Do say hello to me. I'm always happy to say hi to you. But for those women, one of the things I start off with is you're going to have to rescue yourself. You're going to have to go out there and you are going to have to be the hero in your own story, because nobody's coming to rescue you. So in that first version of her song, she talked about this man, and I remember that in my 20s and probably in my early 30s too, hoping that I'd find somebody who loved me and thought that I was good enough and worthy enough and valuable enough, and that would fill up the holes in me that were burned in me, as she says, at 6 years old. This time, probably because her relationship ended, probably because the song lost a lot of meaning and also reinforced some of her history, right? He will never leave her like you left me. And her and her partner separated. And so the song had to change because her life had changed and the lyrics no longer really were relevant for her life. And so as I listened to that song last night, some of the bits that just smacked me in the eyeballs were these bits. And I want to share them with you today. So, she talks about, and this bit just smacked me in the eyeballs. I restored my faith that a heart could still beat even when it breaks. Like, wow. And I think for many of us, when we're brokenhearted and sad and overwhelmed and frustrated, and we really feel like we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we're not lovable enough, you know what I mean? And we think it's over. I'm so broken. Life is so challenging. I'm never going to recover from this. And I love that line in her new version because, it reminds us that even with a broken heart, it's still a beating heart. We're still alive. We're still there. We're still needing to participate in our life. We're still needing to show up. And I love that. I absolutely love it. Our heart does not have to be fixed for us to let go and move on. The pain just has to be honored. We have to know, gosh, I'm brokenhearted. My heart is broken. And we've got to, at least for ourselves, we've got to be able to touch that heart space and remind ourselves, oh my God, this is a very difficult freaking moment. So I think honoring the pain is really important, but remembering your heart is still beating is really important. Another line in a song, I packed up my pieces and I put them back together again. It reminds me of there's a gorgeous Japanese fable, I guess. And it's about, when bowls, it's not even a fable, they do it, but when bowls are broken into pieces, they put them back together with gold. So they're still what they were. They're still a bowl. And now they have gold pieces that hold the broken parts back together again. And I think that's something else. I'm so broken. The amount of women who say to me, I feel so broken. I'm like, you're not broken. It's a new iteration of you. It's a new version of you. It's painful. Like, it hurts, right? It really freaking hurts. But when we put ourselves back together, we are a new version of ourselves. We're a better version of ourselves often because we've learned so much through the struggle. We've learned how strong we are. Like, share with me in the comments, when somebody left you and your life felt like it was absolutely freaking gone, what happened after that? And how did your life change? And even in little tiny ways, what did you learn? One of the ladies who's here in the chat right now, I remember her saying to me last week or the week before in one of our membership chats, she said to me, I'm setting boundaries with people now. That is putting yourself back with gold. We don't need to wait for a white knight. Kelly Clarkson talked in that song, and piece by piece, you picked me up off the ground and you rebuilt me, and now she's saying, I pick up my own pieces and I put myself back together again. No white knight, no rescue, just her really quietly rebuilding powerfully who she is. And that's important to remember. We have to do that ourselves. Nobody is coming to rescue us. And the feeling when we manage to do that is incredible and so empowering. This one, the next line, absolutely smacked me sideways because it hit me in a special way, because I'd been struggling with some shame yesterday. And, she says, I stopped feeling ashamed of who I am. And I think, there's a difference between I feel guilty about something I did, and I feel ashamed about who I am, because shame is that, right? Shame is that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not lovable enough. There's something about me as a human that's not enough. And shame does that. Like it absolutely smashes us to pieces. I've been trying to do some new things, I've been trying to learn some new things. And I feel a lot of shame when I can't do them, when I get overwhelmed, which I do, by the way, especially when it comes to technology. And I was trying something yesterday and it just wouldn't work. And I was frustrated with myself and I was in tears because I noticed that when I get in that kind of headspace of, I don't know if I can do this, this isn't comfortable for me, I don't like it, I stop seeing things, like obvious things, like where's the button, which is what yesterday's nightmare was. I couldn't see the button on my screen and I was panicking. I was like, oh no, where is it? And the shame washes over me, and oftentimes I'll end up in tears because I feel ashamed. What is wrong with me? Why can't I see this? And today I noticed it. Yesterday I noticed it and I caught myself and was like, come on, Debbi, like, stop being so bloody mean to yourself. The shame doesn't belong to me. It was handed to me by someone. My someone was my mom, my dad, people in my stratosphere as a little human. They handed shame to me. And as I grew up and as I get older, I hand it right back. And I'm like, that's not mine to carry. I am good enough. I am worthy enough. I am lovable enough as I am. Just by standing up and sucking in air, I am good enough. And so when I notice shame coming and washing over me, I hold it up to the light very quickly, generally with somebody safe, and say, this is how I'm feeling about this. And then I remind myself, this isn't yours to carry. Let it go. And so that part of the song really got me in the feels, One of the next lines was and now I'm there for me every time. This is something I teach and something I love. is about that, what do we do when we are feeling beside ourselves? So I get lots of questions from my ladies about, they've left me and I'm going to call them. They've left me and I'm going to stalk them on social media. They've left me and they go and do something that makes them feel worse, not better. And so I say to them, don't abandon yourself. And by that, I mean, when we are suffering, when we are struggling, we often will outsource to other people our worthiness, our lovable enough. And we want them to tell us that they love us and that we are lovely people, good people, kind people. And when they do, we feel better. But that part of the song, I'm there for me every time, is about not abandoning ourselves. It's about in those really difficult, painful moments, instead of waiting for somebody else, we show up for ourselves. When we want to make that call, we say to ourselves, I really love this person and they left me. This is really freaking hard. I want them to come back. I miss them. My life is upside down. And I need to get through this day. I need to be here for me today. I need to do some self-care today. I need to take care of my kids today, or take care of my house today, or go to my job today. And so I'm going to put the energy that I do have into me, rather than reaching out to somebody who is probably going to wound me again anyway. I'm going to show up for myself. And I think that self-compassion, self-love, self-acceptance, and not abandoning ourselves helps us really, become that golden bowl. Like it really does. We remind ourselves that I am here for me. I take care of me. I love me. I love another line. There's only a couple more, girls. I love another line in there. She said, I collected me up off the ground where you abandoned me. I collected me. We get shattered in difficult moments. There are thousands of difficult moments in every single person's life. And I'd love you to share some of your difficult moments, if you'd like to, in the comments. Or maybe you can share in the comments some of those triumphant moments that came out of those difficult moments. But the times when you're shattered, there's so many in my life, My mother completely rejected me as a child, as an adult, over and over and over again. My son, when I found out I was 18 weeks pregnant, and they said to me, this fetus is not compatible with life. And I just thought, my God, I can remember that moment to this day, feeling completely shattered to pieces, absolutely shattered to pieces. Loving the first person I loved deeply with my whole heart. His name was Peter. And I loved him with my whole heart. Like, I loved that man with my whole heart. And he was kind to me for a moment. And when he told me he didn't want me anymore, I felt like I was shattered into a million pieces. And then what? And then we collect ourselves up off the ground. We pick the pieces up, the broken pieces up. We don't leave any bits left on the floor. We pick them all up. Otherwise, we'll have a hole in our bowl. That would be bad. We pick all the pieces up, and piece by piece, we stick those pieces back together. And it's not easy, but it's really worthy work, because you're worthy. Because you deserve to be collected up off the ground, because you deserve to be put back together into your new self. And you deserve to be the one who does that for you, because it's empowering. And finally, and then I'm going to get onto something else, but I wanted to do this as well. Finally, she says, I'll take care of them, even with the scars. And she's talking about her kids. If you've got kids, let me know. I've got 4. And it's an interesting journey, right? It's an interesting journey. I'll take care of them, even with the scars. And I know, as a woman with a trauma history and a woman who has had to work with her anxious attachment style her whole life at 59 and a half, I know that I parent with scars. I'm a mother with scars, psychological scars, emotional scars, scars about lack of learning, gaps in my understanding about being a mom and what that means. It makes me sad. So I'm saying it really makes me sad, because all I ever wanted was to be the very best mother for my children. And my mother gave me the best she had. She was incredibly deficient, bless her. My mum passed away. My mum had a personality disorder, and she was a cruel, narcissistic, histrionic, personality disordered woman who really inside of me changed who I was as a human being and made me into somebody that I am today. And for that, I'm grateful. The part where I put myself back together was the best part of me. But I had to learn, with my kids, I would yell sometimes and I'd scare them. And I remember my mum yelling and how much it frightened me, until I got to the stage where I was furious and I was a teenager and I was rebellious and I was like, fuck you. But I remember the pain of that before that. As a mom, my daughter wanting her hair, I had 1 daughter and 3 sons, and I was scared of having a daughter because I thought, I'll stuff it up. I don't know how to do the pink things. I was always in my masculine energy, really. I was really driven and wanting to achieve and to be the best I could be, and nobody mess with me. And yet, I wanted so much the pink, and I just couldn't find a way of fitting it into the pieces of me. So when I parented, when I was a mum, the pink was hard. And I was really conscious. I read books and I watched videos and I listened to people, and I tried to do the things that so many people seem to have just inside of them, instinctively. I had to learn it all. Over the years, 4 kids, 4 humans, 4 little people who were gifted to me. And I took it seriously, and I parented with my scars. And today, as a grown-up woman, there are parts of that that make me deeply sad, that I parented with scars because I was raised and scars came into my world. Did it mean I loved them less? No. I loved them more. Like, I loved them so damn much because I wanted to be the best parent I could, and I had to learn on the job. I had to learn on the job how to be a good mother and what that even meant for me personally, because it's not a one size fits all. And I took care of them even with my scars, in spite of my scars. I tried to be more pink. I tried to be more gentle. I tried to find space inside of myself for things that nobody ever taught me. And they were part of my putting myself back together again. They were part of my learning that, hey, I have to have boundaries with these little people. That's important, even though it's really hard. Hey, I have to say no to these little people, even when I feel like maybe saying no will make them not want me anymore, like my mum did. I have to do things for my kids where I set values that I worked hard all my life to have, so I can demonstrate to my children what values are important in life and why. And it was a risk, because in a culture that says, let them do what they want. Let them have what they want. Don't put guardrails in place. Don't be that kind of mom. I knew that that was the kind of mom I needed to be with my kids, that my children would grow up believing in themselves, learning to be tenacious and strong, learning that inside of them they had everything they needed. And so sometimes I sat there and watched them fall on their faces, not literally, like figuratively, girls. But I had to stand there and watch. There are times when I wanted to rescue and I've stood back and gone, they have to work this out. Even now as adults, and probably more now so than adults, where I step back and I think, I long for my children. I love my children. And I have difficult relationships with some of my kids. And that's painful. And some of them have said to me, you're a therapist. Like, how come you don't behave like one with us? And I'm like, I'm a mama when I'm with you. And I'm a traumatized mama when I'm with you. I'm a woman who's doing her best. And I take care of them even with my scars. So if you're a woman who has scars like me, I see you. I see you. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be good to yourself. We carry our own wounds, and we want to show up for our kids, even when we don't get it right, especially when we don't get it right. I try to parent differently to my parents. But I'm still healing right now. Today still I'm trying to heal it. Some days I think, I nailed that. Mwah! Good on you, Debbie. Well done. And other days I'm not my best self. You know what I mean? Some days we're just holding it together with thinking caffeine and guilt, girls, caffeine and guilt. Often these days, I think for women, they're holding it together with caffeine, wine, and guilt. Trying to be our best selves when there's so many demands on us, and we're expected to do everything perfectly, and we can't. So be kind to yourself. You're not perfect. You're not supposed to be perfect. Just try to be present. Try to be present with your scars. Be self-compassionate with your scars. They don't make us less than. They make us uniquely who we are. Every scar is a story. I bet you have a million stories and a million scars. They mean that we're healing while we are loving ourselves. It's the bravest thing we can ever do. The bravest thing we can ever do. I want to know, is there a song for you? A song that just gets you in the feels? Maybe it lifts you up. Maybe it drags you by the ankles and pulls you under. I'd love to know in the comments if any of that resonates with you. If there's a song that shifts things for you, or has you look at it from a different point of view. I'd love to know in the comments. Let me know. I get really curious, about any song in the world, and there's the fight song. I love that fight song. It's a title of a song that for me it would, today is my 6 out of 7. It's not my day, but when I get to a 9, when I get to a 9 out of 10, it is a fight song kind of day. This is my fight song. This song where I'm going to show up for me song. So if you know fight song, you know that it's a really gorgeous song. Some days, it's a Helen Reddy kind of day, and I am woman, hear me roar, and that's usually at a 4. So if you have a song for your day, I'd love to know what it is, and what your favorite song is. So let me know in the comments. Now, I just want to say something to you here. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. The subscription button's down there somewhere. There's a bell too, and I believe that if you hit the bell, it tells you when I come on doing lives and when I upload new videos. I'm fairly new to YouTube, and I'm growing and learning. So I want this space to be a space of community where you come along with me, where we learn together, where we breathe deeply in those really difficult moments, and we try and take care of each other, and we remind ourselves that we are more together in community than we are standing by ourselves. So right now, whether you're stirring the dinner or hiding in the bathroom having a cry, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up today. And even if you just show up for a minute or two, whether you stay for the whole thing, whether you put me on 2 times and I'm sort of sounding like a chipmunk, I'm glad that you came, and I hope today was helpful for you. Because things like this are about showing up for ourselves. They're about taking a moment, and that can be difficult for women, right? We can really struggle to show up for ourselves, to slow down a bit, to pay attention a bit. We can struggle with that. So thanks for showing up for yourself, even if it was just a little bit. If anything today landed for you, if you're in the thick of it and it feels really hard right now and you're trying to pick yourself up piece by piece, and you need a bit of help, there are lots of videos on my YouTube channel. There's a couple of playlists that I've got. One is about when a long-term relationship ends. I'll put the link for that in the description for you. Another one is about affairs. If you just found out that a partner's having an affair, or you're trying to get through that muggy, dirty, difficult time of, trying to heal after an affair. I'll put the link for that down there too. In addition to that, there are a couple of little survival guides that I've put together. One is for surviving a long-term relationship ending, and the other is surviving an affair. And they're in my little store. I'll put them somewhere on the screen here. I think you can do that. I hope you can do that now I said it. And each month, my gorgeous Kathy Linda runs somatic sessions. So these sessions are for helping you when life feels painful and difficult and you're trying to just calm yourself and help yourself become more restful within yourself. So if you're interested in those, let me know and I can give you the link. They are not in the store right now, but I will get them in the store at some point. And of course, for those gorgeous women who are here from my membership, hello, gorgeous ones. It's so good to see you all. I will read your comments in 10 seconds. So if you're looking for more regular support, we run a month by month experience where we can support you through a month of really difficult times, giving you just little bits and pieces of things that help you come back to yourself, help you steady yourself and calm yourself. And it's guided by myself and Kathy, and we will be there to support you through that month. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments, or you can hit me up. I think my email address is here somewhere. I don't know. I'm new to YouTube, so you know what I mean. It's tricky for me. I'm doing my best, girls, and I'm learning as I go. You know what it's like. So for those of you who have come along, thank you so much. Please do check the description. That's where I put all the links for everything. Next week, same time, same mess, same honesty. You are always welcome here. You're not alone. So thank you very much for coming today. And now I'm going to get into the comments because I wanted to do my song stuff today. You will notice that my room is looking interesting and I'm looking dark because there's a lot of sun and my blind is down because renovations. So as you know, some of you know, renovations. There are a lot going on here. So let's see what's happening in the chat because I haven't even looked, my gorgeous ones. Hello, Sarah, and hello, Nikki. It's nice to see you. And Beverly, it's good to see you, my loves. Do say hello to me in the comments when you come to these lives. Even if you come on the replay, you can hashtag replay because that's always helpful for me to see your comments later. Yep, learning to set boundaries with people is really, really important. I'm glad it resonated for you. I learned I could do it on my own and have freedom. That's really important. I think that is really important, and it really means a lot, right? Some of the songs that I like, Lena Crawford, Make It Through. Better yet, Kylie Rose, Healing Love Makes You Blind. Oh, nice. And Rachel Patton, of course, Fight Song, which we all bloody love because that's a gorgeous song. I love Fight Song with Rachel Patton. It's just a gorgeous song. All right, my darlings. So I'll be here again next week. I alternate between a morning session and an evening session. So make sure that you hit the notification bell. It'll tell you when I'm coming live. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a regular, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. This is a work in progress for me, like everything in my life, And so I'm trying out a new format. So I'm hoping that this is helpful for people. If it is, give me a thumbs up and let me know. Look at the blister. That tells a story from this week's work. Peak. So give me a thumbs up and let me know. And as I said, I want this to be a space where we have community. So please do feel free to hit the comments section and chat with me. Let me know what you think of things that I'm saying, if it resonates for you. If you need any assistance, let me know down there too. All right, my darlings, it is time for me to go. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today. And I will see you next week. I wonder what we'll be talking about then. Wait and see, eh? Bye, lovelies.